Hello and welcome. I am Thad Bauer, Vice President at IVANS. And today I'm here with James Sullivan, who is the Vice President and Chief Customer Officer with Encova, to discuss something that should be very important to all of you, your agency partners. To examine the state of connectivity between agencies and insurers, IVANS has conducted a connectivity survey for 6 years now. And it's always reassuring to me to see how we continue to see huge value to the insurer relationships and new tech to support these relationships. But instead of just showing you the statistics, James, thank you very much, has agreed to add some color commentary for me. So with our short time with you today, we will review some key benchmarks and trend findings from IVANS 2020 Agency-Insurer Connectivity Survey, why it's critical to increase your connectivity with your agency partners, and some agency insights into the technology they value from their insurer partners. So James, thank you so much again for joining us, and look forward to this time together. So our first slide, on a scale of 1 to 10, 71% of agencies ranked automated interface with insurer partners either a 9 or a 10. Very important. Reaching the highest ranking for automated interface demand in all the years we have done this survey. James, is that what you're hearing?
Yes, thanks, Thad. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. It really was a crazy year in 2020. Everything changed overnight, which really drove the need for this digital adoption that we're seeing. Most of our staff and agents were forced to work remotely. Coming in and working mail became a challenge, which has been exasperated by the challenges we've seen in the USPS. The insurance industry has been behind the curve, I think, with digital adoption. And customer expectations also changed on how they should be conducting insurance with us. We actually saw a dip, though, in our digital usage in March and April. I think it was really around everybody really figuring out the new norm of how they were going to work in today's world. But as time went on, we really started to see that increase in the digital connectivity tools that we have available for our agents. We really have gone to a digital first approach. And we were also very fortunate with the timing because we had some additional digital capabilities planned for last summer that really helped us to move the needle. Back to you, Thad.
Yeah, and so that's always, it's interesting on the timing there as well, because we've heard that from a lot of customers, just the unfortunate circumstances that brought on some fortunate returns there. So very interesting to see that. So next slide here, looking at really what agents want. They want speed and convenience when they're quoting for personal lines. So looking at these survey questions, even though 48% of agencies said they use comparative raters, the most to quote their personal lines, over 70% said they would prefer to have personal lines quoting capability directly integrated into the agency management system. That includes integrated comparative rating within their management system, as well as bridging. James, what are your thoughts around comparative raters?
Yeah, that's funny. We've talking to our agents, we do a lot of discussions with them and feedback, and they really see that as a comparative raters as a necessary evil. They really don't like the bait and switch process that happens with that, trying to get a more accurate rate, and would prefer that more integrated process that you're talking about in their AMS system. Now, based on relationships, some are still going to use portals, but the vast majority are really trending to want to have an integrated process in the management system so they're not having to jump all around.
Great. So let's make the shift over to commercial lines. So again, you can see the shift in automation desired in commercial lines as we look at the agent's responses from a commercial lines quoting standpoint. The gap between what is offered and what is desired is pretty big. So a common thread is staying within the management system. So James, are you seeing this within your agency base, that they want to work within their systems?
Yes, thanks, Thad. We are seeing that. This really varies based on the internal agent's workflows. They can be very, very different between agency to agency. And also has a big impact based on the relationship the agent has with the carrier. on where they want to go and work. So what we are seeing is the desired state that agents would like to work in the future. Today, carrier portals are the best method, I think, out there for commercial lines, because enough carriers really are not participating in these other alternatives. But as we start to see other carriers participate in these alternatives, we really are hearing that agents want and should be able to quote the commercial lines business much faster and much easier.
That's great. So let's now shift over to servicing just a little bit. So as in previous years, agents want client and policy information in their management system via download services. This is the number one way they want to receive this information, with insurer portals coming in a second. When I first saw this, even though it was the number one answer, I actually was thinking it would be a little bit higher. So James, what are your thoughts on this? Any insights from your agencies?
Yeah, really for us, Thad, we've got over 90% of our agents leveraging download for personal lines. It's very common, and we're up to over 70% for commercial lines now. We've really made a big push on this, and we're seeing an increase in e-docs and e-messages month over month as well. Really, there's so many advantages for agents and how this helps their specific workflows. The challenges we still face, though, is making this truly real time for agents. We've got it set up where that's available, where we push these out every 30 minutes now, and agents can do that based on their own cadence that they'd like to receive it.
So just a little speculation there. Do you think that that their desire for portals coming in number two, do you think that has to do with that timing aspect?
I think it absolutely does, because they're needing that information in real time, depending on what's going on. And if they're on a call that needs up-to-date information, they may reach out to the portal depending on what's going on there.
Yeah, so kudos to you for running at the half-hour frequency. I think that the good news for the industry, there is a shift. So you and other carriers are tending to do more often downloads. You're going to find, at least from my experience in talking with different agencies, there's some agencies that are very set in their ways. They're doing their processing of their download. Once in the morning, they come in, they get their coffee, they process, and they go. Others, though, I do hear they want to, if they're transacting business, they want to finish that transaction, get it done, and get it off their plate. They don't want to have to come back to it and look at it the next day. So just an interesting shift. And one other thing, there is a management system now that's out there that is doing an immediate download. So basically, as a carrier sends it out there, it'll send a ping to the mailbox and to the agency system to where they can say, oh, I've got something, let's go pick it up. So we are getting hopefully a strong movement in the future, in the near future, to more of a real time. So hopefully that's something that you see a value and that your agencies would see a value as well.
Yeah, that's great, Thad. That's really good.
Good. So now let's move into the future here, because one of the things I heard you talk about too with the download and something I'm kind of interested in, just talking about the ability for additional lines of business and again, the real-time movement of data, but really just the push of what are people asking for. So again, not surprising to see these types of things. Definitely like to see the number one be around commercial submissions. That's something that I know I'm very excited about for the industry in the future. So James, can you tell me a little bit with all of these, or maybe hone in on a couple, but how does this align with what you're hearing from your agents?
Yeah, this does align well. I mean, we're seeing a big push from our agents, especially in that small commercial space and around that submission processes, how to get quotes in. I think we'll see the quoting process be more like personal lines, like the personal lines experience for small commercial in a few years, if not sooner. It seems like it's coming fast and furious at us. So one of the things that has come out of the chaos, I think, over the last 12 months is the need to interact more real time and leverage APIs where possible. We are working on different ways to ingest new quotes and speed up the quoting process for our agents. We have and continue to support commercial lines bridging and are looking to implement IVANS submissions in early this year in 2021. We're also leveraging IVANS book roll as we see this as even though it's a small percentage on here, we see this as being an up and coming option for our agents, and also looking for ways to speed up connectivity between us and our agents. Everything gets back to everybody wants it easy to do and fast. So we're trying to speed that connectivity up everywhere we can. But just like we talked about that 30 minutes, we're going to try to push that down even more over this next year.
Very good. So let me pick on a couple things there, just as you were talking through there, because I'm always fascinated with this. So some of what I've been hearing in the industry and some of our other customers that we talked to, you had mentioned the commercial submission process and APIs and everything. I'm seeing carriers basically starting with very key classes or very specific lines of business when it comes to the commercial submission process. Do you have a plan around that? Are you starting small? Are you starting big? Where are you taking that, if I can ask?
Yeah, we're starting with certain lines of business and starting small with certain classes, just like you said. I want to dip our toe in the water, make sure it's working well, and then look on how to expand. And we'll probably expand more classes before we expand to additional lines. Just depending on what the agents are asking for there, though.
And that makes sense. So you get the excitement and the momentum going, and then basically keep building on that as you go through that line of business, and then you move on to the next. That makes perfect sense. Can I ask another question quick too around the additional lines of business? Have you heard any requests from your agencies when it comes to the lines of business that are supported via the management systems? Any requests out there?
Cyber has been a big push for us, both on personal and commercial lines, and something that we've had agents asking about to be able to download.
So another kind of side question there too, something that I've been hearing a lot lately about commercial package and the need to round out the commercial package. So again, picking up the professional liability or maybe liquor liability, the cyber, those kind of things. Does that make sense to you to keep expanding on that, or are you pretty contained in your commercial packages? I'm just curious about your policy types.
Yeah, when we're selling a package, we're really trying to make that a well-rounded experience and be able to offer everything inside that one package. So agents are not having, or policyholders too, are not having to jump around to different lines of business unless absolutely possible. I think umbrella is really the only thing that we're keeping outside of that scope. But if they go down the route of a BOP or something like that, then we have other things to look into.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really appreciate your insights for today. So I just want to kind of wrap this up as we conclude. Hopefully for the audience, I want to leave them with a few key findings from the connectivity report. But really what we're seeing is the need to expand digital distribution through instant product marketing and rating. We're seeing the need for increasing of ease of doing business with policy related information synced directly to agencies' management systems, and to automate servicing across the policy lifecycle, all the way from insurers to insureds. So for those out there, for access to the full report or to discuss how IVANS can work with your Guidewire system to improve connectivity to your agents, please visit our virtual booth here at Guidewire Connections or contact us through the link on your screen. Thank you all today for your attention.